Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. By the time this video goes live, Operation Meghna is either live or about to go live in a few hours. A lot of love and hard work went into this content update, and it's great to see how excited everyone has been, whether it was on the official Discord or here in the comments in my videos. Everyone has been amazing at supporting the devs. So maybe you have already managed to play a couple of games on the new map Ferry Launch, which has a completely different name in the game, or you are stuck at work or school, or you are still downloading the update, but don't worry, I got you covered. I've got something to help you wait until you can finally play the update. And this is going to be my last preview video of Operation Meghna. And before we deep dive into the new map, I want to thank everyone for your support. I am in a pretty fortunate position, and I am not really sure if I deserve all the support that I got over the past few weeks, but I wanted to thank you all for all the support anyway. So thank you for your support, and thank you for taking the channel to a whole new level. Thank you for supporting 0 Hour and any other games that I will be featuring on this channel. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started. The first key feature of this map is the overall lighting. As you can see, the operation takes place pretty late in the afternoon, right during a sunset, which gives the map those really nice colors and still rather bright lighting. This makes it the second map in 0 Hour that does not take place during the night, making things for attackers a little bit more challenging since the breaker switch and the NVGs won't be as efficient as usual. The second key feature is this almost 360 degrees access to the map. Because there is nothing around the boat, attackers are able to rappel on 3 sides of the boat and access pretty much all floors from almost anywhere they want. This is a huge tactical advantage for the attackers since it provides a lot of options for flanking tactics, and it makes it the prime focus of this map in my opinion. With the hospital, the focus is mostly on teamwork to clear everything together and Overwatch with its glass rooftop and the long corridors. For the Ferry Launch map, it's pretty much the same thing. It's very much about teamwork to clear everything, and you will see why very soon, and the use of rappelling to navigate between the floors. Players and teams who are very good at adapting their flanking tactics on the fly will definitely excel on this map, especially when attacking. Now let's talk about the general layout of the ferry boat. It's composed of 5 levels. The rooftop, which can only be accessed by the CTs for the first minute of the match, the first class VIP level, the second class level, the standing or reception area, I don't really know how to call it because the game doesn't give me a name for this one, and the storage and engine rooms. And as per usual, the defenders get 5 different objective locations. 1 in the storage room, 1 in the engine room, 1 in the general sitting area of the second class floor, 1 in the central hall of the second class floor, and 1 in the VIP lounge of the first class floor. And again, as per usual, the attackers get 3 entry points, by air on the rooftop, or by water at the front or the rear of the ferry boat. The top floor serves more of an entry point for the cities and does not really count as a proper floor, at least in my opinion and at least for the first minute of the match. From there you can access the first class VIP area either from the back, the front or, as I said earlier, from the sides if you want to rappel down to the lower floor. Although you cannot access this floor during the first minute of the round while defending, it is worth keeping an eye on this floor during the match, especially if the objective is located in the first or second class, because I think this top floor, the rooftop, will play a vital role when attackers want to switch sides when rappelling. So always assume there could be attackers there at any moment during the match. Now the first class / VIP floor is where things start getting complicated, and when I mean complicated, I mean really complicated. Complicated like you have never seen before in 0 Hour. You thought military airport and the basement in Cafe 14 were complicated? Think again. With this map, M7 Production has taken the term complicated in CQC context to a whole new level. Here's what really complicated sounds like. 8 VIP suites in the lounge, 2 crew rooms, 8 toilets, 10 single VIP rooms, and 16 VIP rooms. Oh, but don't worry, a couple of those rooms will be blocked either because it's the design of the map or because of the procedural prop placement system. But nonetheless, this is going to be a very complicated floor to navigate. The VIP rooms are small rooms, very small bedrooms. The tricky part is that the doors and the windows of those VIP rooms are made of stained glass windows, making it pretty difficult for attackers to see if someone is actually hiding in one of those rooms. Luckily, there are not that many lights that defenders can destroy to make it darker, since most lights on this map are actually in the walls. At the back of the boat, you will find 4 toilets and 16 VIP rooms right after that, divided in 2 groups of 8 VIP rooms by 3 corridors that lead to the single VIP rooms. That cluster of single VIP rooms is then divided in 3 groups by only 2 corridors that lead to another set of toilets and stairs that lead to the lower levels. As you can see, the navigation through that floor is already tricky since you switch from 3 corridors to 2 corridors and you are surrounded by small rooms all the way. Maybe this is where you would prefer to rappel your way to the VIP lounge from the outside instead of walking through the level. But you can actually mix both tactics, it's entirely up to you. And then you get to the VIP lounge, the objective location on this floor. The VIP lounge has 2 entrances. The main one that is facing the stairs that lead to the lower level, and then at the back that lead to the front of the boat. The VIP lounge is a rather large room surrounded by smaller VIP ensuite rooms and a tighter corridor at the end, which is where the navigation will be the trickiest in my opinion. So, by now you should have a pretty good idea of what I meant when I say that this map is taking the term complicated to a whole new level. This map is an absolute nightmare for cities and I absolutely love it. I feel it is one of those maps where I could see Hendo from SWAT saying, "Stay liquid and fill the gaps," because there is no way you would feel good rushing through those corridors without having someone to watch your back. Now let's talk about the floor for the second class. The second class features somewhat of a similar layout, but everything is flipped. It remains quite complicated nonetheless, given its amount of small rooms, corners and stairs. On this floor you will get the following: 24 single cabins, 2 cabins for the crew, 8 more toilets, I don't know, they need a lot of toilets on those ships, and then the prayer room and the care class room with the entrance to that room all connected together, and that's the objective location. So once again, not all rooms can be accessed, it depends on the procedural prop placement setup that you get, and I believe some of the rooms are always blocked by props, which actually provides good cover for you to progress through those very dangerous corridors. The first cluster of single cabins is composed of 12 cabins divided in 2 groups of 6 cabins by 3 corridors from the front of the boat. This then leads to the second cluster of single cabins, which is also composed of 12 cabins, but it's divided in 3 groups, 2 of 3 cabins on each side of the boat and 1 in the center of 6 cabins, and all of that is divided by 2 corridors only. You would then get to the stairs that lead to the first class VIP floor, the one we talked about earlier, and then the first set of toilets. You're now at the back of the boat, close to the care class and the prayer rooms. But before that, you will find stairs on each side of the boat that leads to the standing or reception area. So that floor that I don't really know how to call. We're gonna call it the ground floor moving forward. So, the prayer room and the care class, that's the objective location. There are 4 entry points to the care class, which are all facing the front of the boat, and 2 entry points to the prayer room, which are actually only inside the care class room. This is a pretty tricky objective location for the defenders, since the room have stained glass windows all around and there are not a lot of covers and props to actually hide behind. It is, however, very close to one of the spawn points of the attackers, who would have to be extremely careful when trying to push this objective location. expect most defenders to hide elsewhere, and as you can see, they have plenty of options to hide between you and the objective. Let's move on to the ground floor of the boat. There isn't much to say about this floor. Defenders do not have an objective location there, but this floor acts kind of like a bridge in between the first floor or the engine and storage room, which are two objective locations available to the defenders. This ground floor is essentially divided in two big rooms. The first one serves as a safe area during the first minute of the round for attackers, since defenders cannot access it to avoid spawn picks. However, it has two big metal doors that lead to the storage room, which, remember, is one of the objective locations. However, they are not always open, and I believe they are part of the procedural prop placement system. So you can actually be lucky, and you might be able to access the storage room from an area that is actually safe for the first 1 minute of the round. So that's a pretty big deal. And then you have the second room, which is, I think, where passengers without a cabin or VIP are supposed to wait. This second room is extremely important since it gives access to everything else. You can go up to the second class floor. You can go to the back of the boat where you will find more stairs that lead to the second class floor. You will find stairs that lead down to the engine room, and then two more of those big metal doors from which you can actually drop down to the storage room. You still have stairs at the front of the boat to go to the second class, but depending on the objective location that defenders took, they might try to control this area a lot to slow down attackers' progress. The engine room can be accessed from two stairs that can be found at the back of the boat and are pretty exposed in my opinion. However, attackers can also get a pretty good view on those stairs, and I think having a couple of attackers providing overwatch from above would be a good idea while the rest of the team progresses down to the engine room. So as you would expect from any decent engine room, you will find big ass engines, the kind that restrict your line of sight and movement a lot. There is not much to say about this room since it's a fairly basic one. It is an objective location though, it's pretty important to mention it. There's the breaker switch there as well. It is, however, another option to get to the storage room. So on top of those four big metal doors that you have at the ground floor, you also have two normal doors in the engine room. However, I don't know if all four metal doors can be all closed depending on the procedural prop placement setup that you get, but maybe it can happen, and then in this case pushing the storage room is going to be a lot harder because you will have to go through the engine room, and that could be a lot easier for defenders to actually prevent you from accessing the objective. Now let's talk about the storage room. The storage room is a mess. Suitcases, large bags, sport bags and containers all dropped in this big storage room, which makes it very hard to read the room because it's a complete chaos, and it's going to be a real nightmare in my opinion to breach this and try to acquire targets really quickly. But it will also be very hard for the defenders to cover all angles, since attackers could be coming from above through one of those big metal doors. They could also drop a couple of flash grenades from there really easily, and then they can be coming from the front to the engine room. In my opinion, the engine room and the storage room might be some of the hardest rooms for defenders to play because there is not really a lot of options to hide compared to the other floors. However, teams with players who are very good at roaming around the map will excel here. Attackers will have to be extremely careful not to feel too safe while pushing the engine and the storage room, and they better watch their back for defenders trying to flank from behind. To conclude, this map has a design direction very similar to the hospital, at least in terms of what they are trying to achieve. With all those rooms, tight corridors and windows, Ferry Launch will require a lot of good teamwork slow progression and communication to be played. There are just so many angles to cover, so many rooms to clear that there could be defenders hiding anywhere. This map is going to be challenging, and honestly, I don't mind. Hopefully by the time you watch this video, Operation Meghna is just about to be released or has already been released, and I hope you are all enjoying the amazing new content that M7 Production has been working on. I honestly think they did an amazing job here. I feel that they tried to go for something different with those two new maps, and I like the kind of diversity that it adds to the game. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this new map. And so this is it for this preview of the second map that gets added to 0 Hour with Operation Meghna. I hope you understand the scale and the objective of these maps and all the hard work that went into this content. I hope you enjoyed this preview, and I cannot wait for everyone to be enjoying this update. I think it's really good, and we are finally there. I know it has been quite a long journey, and I honestly want to thank everyone who has been patient, everyone who has been either very positive or very constructive with their feedback about Operation Meghna. If you enjoyed this preview, please consider leaving a like and to subscribe to support the channel. And thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.